I'm going to start this episode by correcting just a simple mistake that I made in one of my previous episodes. I previously said that all entitlements of the Forever GI Bill would actually take place on January 1st, 2019. And instead, well, it actually started taking place back in August of 2017. And it just kind of snowballed into what turned into 2 more bills because they had to fix what they actually made, what they kind of messed up. My name's Scott, you're watching Regular Veteran. Today I'm going to talk about the GI Bill. I'm going to talk about the New York City cop that fended off 5 different vagrants without even ever pulling his weapon. I'm going to also talk to you about the government shutdown, how it's affecting our Coast Guard, TSA, and the air traffic control community, Stratcom and Twitter, Mission X, VetPaw, the discount that you're going to receive from Apple, the veteran unemployment rate hit an all-time low in 2018, and R. Lee Ermey, he passed away, but he's going to be buried in Arlington. So I'm going to talk about all those things. I'm also going to talk about Canada and how they're implementing cannabis in their military. Bing, bang, boom, and we're done. Some of these things aren't news, but rather just things that are news to me. I'd never heard about them, and I just feel like somebody should know. It's veterans doing something awesome. Stay tuned to learn more. All right, so there were 2 bills recently passed. One is the Veterans Benefits and Transition Act of 2018, and the other is the Forever GI Bill Housing Payment Fulfillment Act of 2018. If you just want a quick overview of the 2 bills and what they look like, in the Reboot Camp of Military Times, there's a really great article. I put the link below if you want to check it out. It did miss a few things, so I'm going to cover those. It used to be that the zip code that your school was located in was where your housing stipend was based off of. But in the Forever GI Bill, the change that they put into place was that your housing stipend was actually based on the location of the campus that you attended. So if you attend a satellite campus, you actually are most likely going to receive a lower housing allowance because you're not going into that big city. One of the things that the Forever GI Bill Housing Payment Fulfillment Act of 2018 did was ensure that the difference that people expected they were going to get and what they actually get is going to be made up for. It's going to be based on the 9/11 GI Bill rather than the Forever GI Bill until they get that fixed up. The law says by January 1st, 2020, the Secretary should make whole the individuals entitled to payments of monthly stipends under Section 3313 of Title 38 United States Code who have been underpaid as a result of difficulties encountered by the Department of VA carrying out such a section of giving them less money because they're at a satellite campus, which caused huge heartaches and headaches on all of our veterans that are using that GI Bill and fully dependent without a landlord that really, had their back. They didn't have anything to give that landlord to say, I'm gonna get paid, they're gonna make this right, I'm gonna pay you back. Senate Bill 3777 also makes it so that the VA isn't gonna come after those veterans that they overpaid by mistake. If you're not getting what you're supposed to be from the VA, right now is the time to let them know. Secretary Wilkie was just charged with finding all of those veterans that they didn't receive what they were supposed to and recouping them. So Senate Bill 2248 was passed recently. Title I in Senate Bill 2248 is all about education. What you saw when there was some sort of glitch in the system and veterans didn't get paid by the VA, you saw schools pressuring the veteran to come up with that payment. You saw them not letting them register for classes. Other schools wouldn't let them have access to certain resources. And really what this bill does is says that is not allowed. And if you do that, we're going to hold you accountable, and veterans aren't going to be able to attend your school with their GI Bill because you're going to end up screwing them over somehow. So I think this is a really awesome, really important part of this bill, and I think it does a lot of good for veterans all across the nation. It puts into place a system so that a veteran can get some sort of printout to show what their stipend is going to be and for how long they're going to receive benefits. It's something that they can take to a landlord and verify that they're going to be able to pay. I personally had this issue whenever I was in school. I had a hard time with where I could rent because most places wouldn't rent to me because I didn't have some sort of proof of income. And my income was the GI Bill, but I couldn't give them anything. I could give them bank statements, but it wasn't really proof of anything that would go on any further. So this title actually changes that, and it gives them the ability to say, hey, landlord, I've got you. This is what I'm gonna make, and this is how long I'm gonna make it. And I think that's really cool. They also give some civil relief to the termination of leases of premises of deceased service members who die while in military service. It helps a spouse of a deceased service member get out of a lease if they want to go back home and grieve with their family. I'm really glad that that's something that spouses and service members don't have to worry about anymore. It tries to set up some sort of housing program for homeless veterans, and I am so excited that that's something that the VA is really putting effort into. One of the things that Senate Bill 2248 also does is the Medical Surgical Prime Vendor Program, Section 703. It requires the Secretary to award contracts to multiple regional prime vendors instead of a single nationwide prime vendor. This bill really puts the pressure on Secretary Wilkie. There's quite a few changes that need to be made, and it details just how long he's got. Some of them set parameters like check-in in 6 months. Some of them are a year from now, this needs to be entirely fixed. I'm really interested in Title IV of the bill. It goes into the study of community-based transition assistance programs for members of the armed forces after separation, retirement, or discharge. And what they're trying to do is figure out what nonprofits are out there to support transitioning military members and put them in contact with that. Secretary Wilkie has to ensure that this is somehow published online for all military members to access. I think this is a really awesome provision, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. Okay, on to bigger and better things. This New York cop over here, holy crap, check this out.
Hey, step back. Hey, step back. Step back. I don't want to hurt you. Step back. Step back. Step back. Step back. Step back. Step back. Hey. Step back. Step back. Step back. Come on. Step back.
Hey. Always.
Get out of my face. Let go.
Oh. We all know that the government's been shut down for a few weeks now, and the Coast Guard didn't receive their first check after the government shut down. TSA, air traffic control, they all come from the DOD is still getting funding, but the is not. I was just reading that there's going to be a bill introduced that's going to give relief to the Coast Guard, air traffic control, and TSA. So hopefully we can get those entities paid, and that's absurd that they're not getting paid. Okay, so real quick, it was kind of weird. On New Year's Eve, the Stratcom Twitter went off and said, pointing at the Times Square ball drop tradition, and said, if ever needed, we're ready to drop something much bigger. Watch to the end. And they tweeted this video. Somebody recorded it, but it was taken down. And the video says, stealth, lethal, ready. And then it shows them dropping a huge bomb and then at the end. But you can check it out. The link is below, but it's just a weird thing for our military to be really saying like, hey, let's go to war. The tweet kind of had an overly aggressive pro-war stance. And while I understand that our military is there so that if war is needed, then they can take care of it, we should never be pro-war.
Let me get him!
That means you're killing people. Take it easy, partner. They don't play pretend war. They are war. They are the end of war. So it's not a good look for them to be tweeting, hey, let's end humanity. All right, keyboard jockey. The fact that they made a video of the whole thing does lend to there was a lot more thought out than just like, we're gonna throw this up, it's gonna be a funny one. But they actually put some real time and effort into making something of substance, and the video's really compelling. Like, man, it kind of made me want to go to war.
And that is the most important topic on earth, peace. What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we seek? Not a Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war. Not the peace of the grave, or the security of the slave. I am talking about genuine peace, the kind of peace that makes life on earth worth living, the kind that enables men and nations to grow and to hope and build a better life for their children. Not merely peace for Americans, but peace for all men and women. Not merely peace in our time, but peace in all time.
Mission X is the next thing I want to tell you about. It's something that I found while I was looking up different things about Sandcastle, and it's a team of 9 high-caliber special operations ex-soldiers affiliated with the world's most recognized special forces. They put together real-world missions and provide authentic tactical adventures, leadership development, and team building exercises. They also do technical consulting to film and television. When I saw their website, I thought, man, it would be awesome to go on one of their adventures. VetPaw is veterans empowered to protect African wildlife. The goal of VetPaw is to help in the African poaching crisis. They're trying to help conserve endangered species, and they do this by utilizing their skills and experience from being in the US military. They try and train park rangers, and they go out and support them in taking down poachers that are trying to kill helpless animals. And it's a really incredible organization. I definitely support what they're doing. I think it's an incredible way to utilize, experiences and services that most people don't have. This one I'm really excited about. Apple now has a veteran and military purchase plan. There's a special store. The link is below. Definitely check it out. Booyah. You can get deals. It's got special prices for veterans and military members. It gives you some sort of discount. I can't give you the exact amount. Deals on deals on deals. It's not super new, but it's definitely something you should check out. I told you I'd talk about the veteran unemployment rate. Well, in 2018, it was at an all-time low. The Department of Labor said that we ended the year with a 3.2% unemployment rate, which is really great. It's below the national average, which is 3.6. It beat out 2017 by 0.6%. We're getting veterans more jobs, and that is a really great thing to see. So great news there. Ermey was laid to rest. He actually passed away on April 15th of 2018. He was actually laid to rest recently in Arlington, January 18th of 2019. So it took a little while for him to get there, but he is in Arlington. Last but not least, the Canadian military just regulated cannabis like alcohol. They set a time limit for, not being high at work. They said you can't really take it with you when you go somewhere. I've actually been on a Canadian C-17. It was nicer than ours because it gets a lot less work. So it was like riding in a new car. That's what that looks like whenever it's not beat to shit. If you're interested in learning how the Canadian government recently regulated cannabis in their military, go ahead and check out the link below. It's actually just the directive straight to their military members, so you can read it in the black and white. My next episode is going to be a movie breakdown of Hacksaw Ridge. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's supposed to be amazing. I haven't seen it, but I'm really excited. Like, share, subscribe, all the things. Comment, please. Let me know, what movie should I break down? What's something that you heard in veteran news that I didn't talk about? What's something I'm missing? What's a brand that I should talk about? What's an episode that you would like to see? I had a comment that I should do an episode on homelessness in veterans, and that's one that I'm definitely gonna do here very soon. My name's Scott. You're watching Regular Veteran. I'll see you on the internet.